Hi, Paul Slackers, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Bruce May. Hi, Bruce, how are you?
Hey, Paul. I'm great. How are you?
Okay, good. Richard Laramy as well. Hi, Richard, how are you?
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Okay, good. Bruce is the CEO and Richard is the president, and I'm looking at a website here, Specialist in Performance Management. Okay, it's called Business Prosperity Network. How do you transform a good organization, we love that word, good organization, into a great one, okay? Well, Bruce, why don't you give us a little background here?
Okay, I will. The Business Prosperity Network is actually the business division of the corporation we set up. The corporation is called the Expert Knowledge Network, and it's a set of services for business consultants and subject matter experts. We're rolling out new services even as we speak, and providing digital media services and publishing services for consultants and helping them learn how to really market themselves in the 21st century because all the tools and rules are changing. But part of the group is really an inner circle of enterprise-level consultants that have come together and providing consulting services under the business division, which we call the Business Prosperity Network.
Okay.
Yeah, and Richard is key to all of this. Richard is on the board of advisors to the University of Texas Center for Performance Excellence. So these are all Baldrige guys involved with administering Malcolm Baldrige Award. And so a lot of what this consulting process is built around that kind of approach in performance management.
Okay. Well, you have something here. You say that to make a good company, even a better company. So, first of all, how do you know, Richard, whether a company is a good company? What makes a company good?
Well, Paul, typically they're going to show results, and they're going to have processes in place, and they're going to be innovative. They're going to do things that are at least meeting industry standards, if not exceeding them. And so, from that standpoint, that's how you sort of recognize a good company, and you have gut feels. I'm sure you've gone to, a hotel or a restaurant, and you walk away with a good feeling. Well, at least that organization is a good organization.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, that's an outside perspective, right? It's like in this TV business, in essence, all the people see is the show in the end. Meanwhile, to create that show, there's hairdressers, there's wardrobe, there's makeup, there's the intricacies of personalities, there's business, blah, 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 blah. So to get to that part, to deal with that part, us outsiders, we're the consumers, right? So we don't know how difficult it was or how easy it was for the company to get to that. But do you think it kind of shows itself as a result of me now seeing either a great TV show or seeing a great hotel management run, efficiencies all around the place?
You get a glimpse of it. You really don't see it until you have a look at the organizational profile, in a sense, sort of a state of the union of how well it's run in its organizations. In other words, how well does the senior leaders communicate with the employees? How happy are the employees? When you start to see that, then you can recognize the company as being a good organization. All companies have opportunities for improvement, and all companies, especially good organizations, are looking for those gaps to see where they can move become more of a mature organization into a great one.
Okay. Now, you guys as consultants, maybe Bruce, you can give me some insight here. A consultant, I guess, that word possibly has concerns when a consulting company comes in and is looking at a company to maybe, say, middle management or maybe even upper management. Do you need the buy-off or the approval of, say, the CEO, or how do you then go about doing this? Because I guess, when change occurs, sometimes people aren't comfortable with change. What's the process?
Well, we've actually created a special process that reaches across the entire organization, so you absolutely do need the buy-in from the top. There's an awful lot of change management that goes out there and in the real world, and it can get kind of rough and uncomfortable. And one of the things that we do is bring a very holistic view to the entire consulting process. One of the great things about working with Baldrige people is we have the opportunity to speak using common language, because you can actually use the Baldrige framework as a way to talk about virtually any aspect of an organization. And by the way, that is not just business organizations, that includes nonprofits, government agencies, any kind of organization. This process works the same way. And so we do want to go in ideally and get buy-in from the top. We also want to get coordinated across departments. And also we like to integrate with all the consultants that are touching on an organization. If it's a small organization, that's not necessarily a big challenge, but for very large organizations that may be involved with many different consultants, often that is going on, and sometimes it's even counterproductive. But frequently consultants come into an organization and they're not communicating with other consultants. And the bigger the organization, the bigger the challenge. So one of the things we can bring to the table is, for any organization, is the ability to help kind of corral that together. I like to say that what we really are is a toolkit for the CEO.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about this Baldrige. What you mentioned that, and what's the history there, and how do you incorporate it? Is it Malcolm Baldrige?
Yeah, Richard?
Yeah, the Malcolm Baldrige Award, Paul, was developed about 23 years ago. Malcolm Baldrige was Secretary of the Department of Commerce under the Reagan years, and he basically was given the task, commissioned, if you will, to come up with a quality program, a way to help our industries become quality companies, because basically we were getting beat pretty badly. And so he had come up with a set of criteria, and the criteria are 7 simple criteria with questions to ask. And the criteria evolves around leadership, strategic planning, customer market focus, information and knowledge management, workforce, your employees, process management, and then the most important one is results, because you can have processes in place, but if you're not obtaining the results that you desire, then it becomes an ineffective process. So when he had developed this set of criteria and a set of questions to go around it, Ronald Reagan actually put in place a quality program award, and it's to this day still administered through the Department of Commerce, through the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, on a national level. And there's one winner a year. It's recognized by the Vice President and President of the United States. There are about 36 to 37 state awards, and Texas has a Quality Texas Foundation administers the award for Texas, and is probably one of the better state organizations within the United States. But there are 35 or so other states that also offer awards for quality across multiple segments. So it doesn't have to be business only. It can be nonprofit. It can be any sort of other industry segment as well, small business, large business, service, manufacturing, things like that. So that's basically how it came about.
Okay, let's talk about a company, say a medium-sized company, say 100 employees. Okay, and they're making products and of some sort, widgets, say, and the company is, like many companies now, are sort of like concerned about monies and the recessionary-ish kinds of times and so on and so forth. So, but they still love what they do and they're going to continue on. Okay, so you have say it's a family-run business. Where would you go? How do you help them stabilize under, in essence, some unstable conditions that we're all living under right now?
this is a classic example of what's happening today, and there's a difference between surviving in this economy and thriving as well as surviving, and that's what we look at. We look at, and we hear this all the time, that companies sometimes will take the quick fix, which is the obvious things, reduce costs in drastic measures such as workforce. Let's lay off workers, right? That'll reduce the cost. When the economy picks back up again, they're at the same place. They just hire some more workers. They haven't really improved their organization. So when you start to take a look at an organizational profile with all of the criteria, and you start asking the questions, how the senior leaders lead, how does the workforce, relate, communicate, what's the job satisfaction, what types of processes do they have in place, things like that, you can find areas that you can actually improve. And to use the current administration's words, save a job, so to speak, without having to, you can reduce costs by become more efficient or more mature. So there's a combination of those types of things that we look at to help an organization move along a continuum of maturity developmentally along the basic premise of what they set out to do in the first place, which is their mission, vision, and values. So basically help them move along to achieve their goals.
I think there's some themes here, and we can talk all day about it because it's such a deep subject. But some of the key themes that are really valuable tie back to being customer-centric and innovative, not just in terms of your internal business practices, but also in terms of your products and your marketing. And I think in this environment, what's really key for a lot of businesses is to understand, everything is changing. And my expertise includes digital media, and that's a lot of what I spend my time doing. But it's and you're in that world as well, Paul, so you understand. But that's just that's for us. We're in the middle of that kind of revolution. But everywhere, technology is changing rapidly and changing how businesses work, how they create products. It's really, the pace is mind-boggling. But it also creates opportunities for innovation. And with everything in the economy and the situation is now, it's even more imperative for business owners and managers to think innovatively, not just about how they do business internally, but really what are they doing in the marketplace? How are they marketing their products? What do the products look like, or what should they look like? So all of that it needs to be taken in consideration as well.
Okay. I think we got a lot of information here right now, and you guys are headquartered, though, and we are in Texas, so but you can travel, right, and start off with a phone call or something, and is there anything that we should be telling our audience at this moment?
Well, I'd like to share a little bit of news, and we'd love to come back and talk to you more about this when we get a little bit further down the road, but we're producing a new television show. We're in the process of filming the first 2 episodes in just the next few months, and hopefully we're going to have a full season within a year. But the show is going to feature small and medium-sized businesses that actually go through our consulting process. And we're really excited about that. I know your background, you understand a lot of what we're dealing with right now. But we're really excited about it, and we'd love to come back and share more about that with you.
By far, I'll broadcast it if you want. Whatever, however. I know Bruce for a long time is a real pro, and Richard, it's a good time to. I'm glad we're meeting. You're working with my good friend Bruce over there, so I know he's a first-class guy. So I'm sure you are as well. So people will be fortunate to get the expertise and the knowledge that you guys have here. Thinking out of the box and looking at it, and cost effective as well. I know that's in the blood here too. So best of luck with continued success. And how do you transform a good organization into a great one? All right. Thank you very much, Bruce and Richard.
Thank you, Paul.
Paul.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.